Well, thank you for staying with us. It's still Plus Politics. Now, so the coalition of northern groups have alleged that the national leader of the APC has a hand in the protests. He said the group said Tinubu could not justify his claim to nationalism when his actions were allegedly, in their words, against all democratic norms. Should the national leader just shake off this allegation, or could this plan, be to throw a spanner in the works of his 2023 ambition? I don't know, because we have so many conspiracy theories these days. Well, I still have Dotun Alaribiwe and Segun Sopitan here in the studio. I'll start with you, Segun. Is this a ploy to destroy the APC leaders' plans for presidency in 2023? Or is there something to look into? Because they're saying you can't feign ignorance that you don't know. When you're whining and dining with these people, you're friends with these people, now all of a sudden you're trying to feign ignorance about the revolution, now protest. And talking about the last conversation,
absolutely,
that it might just have some correlation, does it?
What they're saying makes absolutely no sense. I don't understand where they're coming from. It's so ridiculous. Well, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a chieftain of
the APC.
Mm-hmm. The Revolution Now protest was primarily against the government of the APC, and in fact, Sowore didn't make any bones about if he had his way. The government should. In fact, he said it will send them packing. It's one of the reasons he's in DSS custody.
But this group is saying that the national leader of the APC is in cahoots with Omoyele Sowore, and the supporters of his protest, including the Nobel laureate, the very interesting Professor Wole Soyinka, talking about Femi Falana, SAN, and the likes of them. So that these are people he hobnobs with. So he cannot be feigning ignorance. So he must have a hand in it.
Yeah, so we're saying that he has a hand in trying to send his own government packing. No matter how much, whatever the intrigues and the political interplay or power play and all that's happening within the APC and the government of the day, I don't know whether it will become so serious that you'd want to sabotage your own doing, your own baby, because that's what it would mean. And I want to ask as well, who's the CNG? It's a question.
The coalition of northern groups.
Yes, I know. I know what their acronym stands for, but I did a little research, into them, and I found that it's practically faceless, and yet they've got a voice.
Isn't that detail for many groups in Nigeria?
So the point is, there's somebody behind this. It's not the CNGs.
Oh, here we go again with these conspiracy theories.
Now, I can't help it because it doesn't make sense. I'm part of the management. I'm the chairman of the BOT of a civil society organization. I know what it takes to have one press conference. It's not easy. You've got to be resourced. You've got to have something to say that people are willing to listen to. And yet these guys come, into the national space every now and again, and they've got the whole media talking about them. Mm-hmm. You don't do that without being resourced. So who are they? It's just one guy called Abdulaziz Sulaiman, and that's all you'll ever hear. Mm-hmm. And beyond that, you don't see anybody. So my thinking is that this is all just a play towards 2023, and we already know the kind of sounds that were coming out of a certain part of the north recently. In fact, let me say it, Governor El Rufai has been quoted to have said a couple of things that was already throwing the gauntlet down, at the gate of Bodilon, like the battle, he drew the battle line. So yeah, you can call it conspiracy theory and all that, but I see some sort of conspiracy going on here to try and divide the house.
Isn't the house already divided? And in the States, there've been cracks and some, although the president, the national chairman of the party yesterday was saying that most of these things are cooked up by the media and haters of the party to make it look like the party does have internal problems.
There's never smoke without fire. See, but going to the CNG, I don't recognize them. What they are saying is arrant nonsense. As far as Tinubu and Sowore, and you see, they are being clever by half. They are trying to refer back to the time some people said Tinubu sponsored Sowore to attack Jonathan, all those kind of things. Exactly. So that is, they are going into that reserve to bring out this one now. But the Tinubu is too smart for that level of involvement with show warrior to destabilize the federal government of Nigeria. If, like they say, he has ambition for 2023, that's a different ballgame entirely. So, like he has said, there's somebody behind that CNG. So they just want to throw some spanners in his own works, but it's all fine. All is fair in battle, all is fair. Fireworks, let's go. It's going to be interesting. Like I said earlier, you are thinking of 2023 when we have not even started 2019. That is irresponsible as far as I'm concerned.
But let's talk about 2023 and the politics of it. The APC has done 2 terms, and or rather they're about to conclude the term and a half. Yes, and they will complete their 8 years. Do you see the APC with all the shakiness coming back in 2023, maybe tougher, or are we going to see another merger that would be like the ANPP and the CPC that would somewhat come to overthrow the APC?
There will definitely be realignment of forces, you see, because right now as it is, APC is imploding. Is imploding seriously. Shemole can fool himself to kingdom come.
He says that's cock and boo stories.
He can fool himself to kingdom come. Even himself is shaky as he is, APC is imploding. So 2023 is a different ball game. You go to see after ministers start work, people that lost out in the electoral process, you say, okay, well, this is CPC, is this CPC, ACN block, ANPP block, the old
NPDP.
NPDP has gone back to PDP majorly. Okay. You see, because look at it, in 2015, PDP had to come into APC for APC to snatch the presidency from Jonathan. In 2019, APC, that's NPDP that went to APC, went back into PDP to try to snatch the power from Buhari. But like I said that time, Buhari was one step ahead of all of them. Ordinarily, they would have snatched it if it was a lesser setup. So kudos to Buhari and his own team for, resisting that. This is Nigerian politics.
This is interesting. Aside from the APC, because I want to, deduce something from what he said. There were realignments in 2019. There were movements, and we had the third force that came with a big bang and then went with the big bang. So I'm just wondering, how strong can these alliances or realignments be? I mean, even the new guys that we were all calling for, the fresh blood, there was no support per se for these people except for social media. So are we really ready to change the course of things when it comes to the politics in Nigeria?
I think the country is not quite ready yet. But, like you said, there's going to be a realignment. It's already happening, actually. So, for instance, you would have heard the news 2-3 weeks ago about some big umpire joining the PRP, JEGA. That's 2023 right there. That's the realignment. PRP has always been a strong force in a certain part of the north.
Some parts of the north.
Yeah, and from what we gather, they are trying to, regroup, possibly find which side of the divide they're going to pitch their tent with. So all those things are already happening. The so-called third force.
Is there still a third force?
I don't know.
I'm just curious.
They came with a bang and they went out. Sorry, not with a bang, with a whimper. I mean, it was a debacle. And I think that I hope that they've learned their lessons and that they will begin to strategize from now. Understand that it's not a tea party, like my friend Tokwe would always say, that politics is not a tea party. Understand that. And
it is in some countries.
I mean, there's actually a party called
the Tea Party.
So that it's not a tea party, and they need to begin to smell the coffee, understand that it's hard work. It's not going to happen. You don't wake up 6 months to an election and declare to become president. Are you for real? Right? So the people, I mean,
as much as I want to support what you have said, everybody's sleeping right now. We haven't really seen, because it's supposed to start immediately. The president sets out with his new, new tenure. So there are supposed to be people beginning to start. In fact, they start by criticizing constructively or pointing fingers. That's when you know how serious they are. But we haven't seen it. Everybody seems to be laying low for now. And then we will be getting surprises maybe a year before the elections.
You see, because the system is not functioning itself now, you know what I mean? Until the system starts functioning, before you want to criticize something. What are you criticizing now? You want to criticize, there's nothing to criticize because we are...
If the system is not functioning, that's a problem in itself.
We are on auto drive. We're just on auto drive. That's what it is. We're on auto drive. You see, we don't have visionary leadership. No, we don't. We're thinking of the next election. That is the problem of the average political elite in Nigeria, indolence.
Do we really even know politics in Nigeria? Because I listen to the news, I follow British politics very closely. They never go to sleep. Well, be it the Labour Party, be it the Lib Dems, the UKIP, whatever it is, and Nigel Farage's Brexit party, they never go to sleep. And that is politics. Do we even play opposition in this country? Do we know how to
They have ideology
in this country?
And they have principles. Here, you see, look, in Nigeria, we don't even campaign. You just say, okay, this party is having a campaign. It's just a jamboree. Just give them Ankara, put a musician on his dance band. He starts, singing. After a while, you see the candidate just come and say, hey, up PDP, up APC, up YMPP, that's all. That's the campaign. So the average Nigerian politician does not promise you anything. So you cannot hold him accountable for something. See, you're talking of places where there's political divide. I'm thinking free education, free health care. That is the minimum I can go with anybody. If you don't think like that, me and you cannot be in the same camp.
How are you supposed to have free education, free health care if you don't have access to water and power?
That's what I'm saying. See, that is here. We don't have ideology. We're just there, just to grab power. That's all. And use it for your own personal interests and your cronies. Then you keep on going. You have a benevolent Robin Hood. He's going to rob everybody, take care of his people, and then throw you the crumbs, and you keep on hating them, and then, what do you expect?
It beats me. We go to these countries, we talk with them, our leaders, we go for conferences, we hear. I tell you what, one of the persons I watch closely today, and I'm intrigued every day, is the president of Ghana. I like how his brain works and how he thinks, and I wish that Nigeria would have such a politician, whether it's the president or even a governor. But in this country, it seems like we couldn't really be bothered. We're okay with the way things are. But then these are our leaders go to those countries, applaud them, even speak interestingly or intelligently, but then when we come back, we never put those things to practice. Why?
Unfortunately, our political system is just one big scam. It's a system rigged to keep a certain group of people in circulation, having access to our commonwealth and our resources, and that's what it is. We don't play politics properly. We don't have political parties, so I mean our political parties... We have
91, by the way.
Yeah, but, they're all the same. Our political parties, with the exception of a few, our political parties are vehicles. And even the politicians admit it. It's just a vehicle, and that's why they can decamp at will. That's why you find one person having belonged to 5 parties or having belonged to 2 parties multiple times across just a short space of time.
It's a joke.
It's just a joke. So until, and that's because, like I said, it's a scam. It's all about corruption. It's all about access to the resources, and they're all friends. So I always tell people, there's no APC, there's no PDP, it's APDPC. It's one party. That's one party called APDPC. That's all it is. And they're all friends. They can say, Tinubu can say whatever he wants to say today about seconders. They're friends. They're never going to break it's a cult. And and that's what we're talking about when Saab was talking of banditry and all that. They're all members of that cult. They will never spill the beans because of you and I, because they're all there. They're having a nice time eating our food, keeping us out in the cold, hungry, tired, dying. And, until we say no more. it's going to continue that way. So we don't have political parties. We've got a few that are trying, but they don't have the money, they don't have the resources,
And
they don't
if we
have the will.
protest or if we ask for a revolution, whether
They will
it
arrest
be
us.
organic or a revolution of the mind.
They'll send DSS after us. You know, so I honestly think that the civil uprising thing is one option that Nigerians need to begin to think about. Don't call it a revolution. It's a protest. You can protest until government hears your voice and do what we want them to do.
What's wrong with calling it a revolution?
Because then you give them the excuse. You know, they will need an excuse of some sort. If we're protesting on the streets and we decide and we declare ab initio that we are not going to be violent, we will declare that as loudly as we can. We're not going to break anything. We're not armed. All we want to do is sit out and make our voice heard until you do something. Then they can't arrest you. So you don't call it a revolution and all those grand, huge words that mean nothing, right? I think we need to begin to think of those things. We need to begin to think of advocacy, of sending position papers, memoranda to the National Assembly and insisting that they put it, you know, they push it through the system until Nigerians engage with these guys and compel them to listen to us. I'm sorry, we're just going to be watching a theater of people feeding fat on our resources.
I'm wondering what the international community thinks of us right now, but I want to say thank you to you, Dr. Olaribiwe. He is a political analyst, and of course, Shegun Soputan is of the ACT Network, political analyst. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
This conversation just, you know, we ended on a low.
Sobers you up.
Yes, of course. And I think that as Nigerians, we should, you know, not just watch these conversations and argue from lines of, you know, politics or religion or ethnicity. We should objectively look at these issues, and maybe that way we can have a common purpose to deal decisively with those people who are our leaders and demand dividends of democracy. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on. We'll take a short break and bring you comments of Nigerians on the outcry of Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, the leader of the Islamic movement of Nigeria, saying he is being treated like a criminal in India. And then when we come back, I'll give you my take. It's time for my take. So, a former commissioner of police says that politicians in this country seem to have a hand in all of the insecurity, the banditry, the herdsmen killing people, the kidnappings on our highways, and all of the things that are happening, even cultism in different parts of the country. And of course, he's saying this authoritatively because he feels that he knows, he has been in the system, so he knows. And it makes me wonder, so why try to stir the pot where your citizens are caught in the crossfire? Innocent people are killed every single day because you want to be in leadership? Is that leadership worth the blood of innocent Nigerians? And innocent Nigerians are also sitting somewhere supporting these so-called politicians who have dirty minds or have dirty business going on or hanky-panky that is costing us our lives and that of our children. So the next time you want to throw your support behind a person merely because he's from your political party or the one that you support, or because it's your brother, is from your region, think about it. Because it's not hit close to home doesn't mean that it might not happen to you or yours someday. Let's begin to speak truth to power. And talking about the issue of, the Revolution Now protests, where the coalition of northern groups are pointing fingers at the leader of the APC, saying he shouldn't feign ignorance, being that he used to be in bed with the arrested, or rather detained, Revolution Now protest convener, Showore. It still goes back to say, well, there's a smoke, there might be fire. So I'm asking us as Nigerians today, I'm charging you to be your own security, to be your own leader, because we cannot just rely on just the government to do right. We need to start doing right. The next time a leader comes to you and asks for your vote or says, support me, ask the right questions and demand the right answers. Because if he gives you salt and rice or wrapper and you take it and smile, he's taken your voice, and we need that voice today. I'm Maryann, and it's been Plus Politics.